Well guys, how's it all going out there? We're just filming from Stradbroke Island. What a sensational couple of days we've had with Chris from 4x4, Marshall 4x4. Thanks for an awesome few days, Chris. It's been absolutely perfect. Now guys, I just wanted to run through a quick couple of things with you guys. How to get longevity out of your four-wheel drive and also have trouble-free motoring, trouble-free four-wheel driving. Yes, that's what we want, isn't it? So, look at the Prado here. We've just done a trip to Mildura, got back to Toowoomba, straight out to Stradbroke Island. Car's been running a dream. So the trick that I found, so I've had this car for quite a while now, and number one is oil change. So I change my oil every 5,000 k's. There's a lot of discrepancies and people have different ideas and all that, but for me it's a fail-safe. Every 5,000 k's I drop the oil and I put a new one in. I also put a new filter in, oil filter, 5,000 k's. Fuel filter, that's very important. So the fuel filter, I think these cars, their service manual says 40,000. I do that every 20,000. So if you're doing it yourself, you're only paying for parts. So I've got a video on doing an oil change, oil and filter change, and I've also got one on a fuel filter change. They're reasonably basic jobs for anyone that's got a bit of common sense. They're not too hard to do, two easy jobs. If you go into a mechanic and getting those two things done, more often than not, than is required, obviously it does get a bit expensive, but those two things will save your engine, give you longevity out of it. Okay, so number three in my view is that we've been doing a bit of four-wheel driving. We've been on the beach, up and down the beach. We've been camping on the beach, going through salty sand. So the first thing I'm going to do when I get back to the mainland is it's going to get a good scrub, okay, underneath, all through those chassis rails. So yeah, having a look, see where all the sand is. It's all in the wheel arches, it's all in little bits and pieces. You've got to get that out, hey. Get it all out, put the hose right in those chassis rails, and just keep pumping the water under there. And another good tip is just grab yourself, I've got one of them wobbly T, they're called sprinklers, and I'll just chuck one underneath. And just let that go for half an hour. Get the gurney under, give it a good scrub, get it all up in underneath everything, because if you don't, your vehicle's going to become a rust bucket anytime soon. Now another trick too is you see a lot of people hammering through the beach, going through washouts that are full of salt water and spraying the salt water up all underneath your car, all over it. Salt water is bad news for your car. Take an extra couple of seconds, slow down, go through the washout, nice and slow, come out the other side. So you're only just getting a bit of, you're going to spray up a little bit, but you're just getting a bit of water on your tyres, maybe a little bit up in your wheel arches. But definitely don't go flying through. It's not fresh, when the water's coming in on the beaches and that, across where you're driving, that's not fresh water, it's salt water. So take the time, slow down, don't spray all that water up everywhere underneath. Good background, isn't it? Isn't it beautiful seeing a bit of water? So I've got a Prado, so any of you guys that have Prados, they've got a fuel filter in between the two tanks underneath. What I do is I change the one in between the two tanks. I do them on the second fuel filter change, so they don't get changed every single one. So that probably works out to about 40,000 k's on the one in between the tanks and the main one under the engine bay. I do that every 20,000 kilometres. So another tip that I've got for you is get yourself a good mechanic. You want a mechanic that you can trust. Mechanic that can oversee what the jobs that you do if you're not a mechanic, any of the maintenance stuff you're doing. So for me personally, with the Prado, I try and do as much as I can as far as maintenance goes. So I'll do the servicing, changing the fluids, changing the filters, all that kind of stuff. If I'm not sure about something, I go to Dan at Dan's Automotive. Okay, so he operates his own business. He's works for himself. It's his business, and he's proven to be reliable. So he's not going to, tell me dodgy stuff. He's not going to try and get me to spend money on my car, right? Just so he can make an extra bit out of me. Because those kind of people, you don't go back to. You won't go back to those people. And I trust him. That's what you need. You need a reputable and trustworthy person that will give you the right advice and steer you in the right direction. I'd probably suggest don't go to the big huge companies that have 10 different apprentices and all that kind of stuff. This is only from my experience and my opinion, because you're just a car coming through. They may not see you for 3 or 4 months or more, and it's just a car coming through. If you've got someone that's you start to know a bit better, you can get better advice and more helpful advice. So guys, just a bit of a wrap up there. So running through those main points again about longevity and hassle-free motoring with your four-wheel drive. Okay, and like I said, just recapping, my vehicle did just short of 5,000 k's, Mildura and back. We visited 3 states, got home, straight over to Stradbroke Island. We've just been up and down the beach, camping, all the rest of it. Everything's working a treat. So all changes are important. Make sure you change your oil. I personally changed mine 5,000 k's. Fuel filter, the main one in the front, 20,000 k's. The one in between the 2 tanks for your Prado, 40,000 k's. Clean your vehicle after you've been on the beach so that you don't get any rust. If you hear any funny noises, things are a bit strange, make sure you get them checked out by your mechanic before it gets gets worse. So there you go. If you've got any questions, got any comments, put them down below. We're still just enjoying Stradbroke Island here. Boat goes in a couple of hours back to the mainland. So hopefully it's just giving you a bit of bit of help in relation to looking after your vehicle and getting heaps of mileage from it. So I've got wonderful Chris here. Mate, you've been awesome. It's been a great couple of days on Stradbroke here. So you run a Triton. I'm just going to get you to give us a bit of your opinion on how to have trouble-free motoring in your four-wheel drive and longevity, keeping your vehicle for a long time, basically. That makes sense. Probably
the same as you, Michael. Just oil change every 5,000. I'll do an oil change. Fuel filter every 15 to 20. So, but one of the important things is once I come off the beach here, I'll get the hose out. I won't use the gurney. I'll just use a hose to get most of the sand out. I don't want to use a gurney to drive it into bushes and seals and whatever. Once I get the bulk sand out, then I'll get the gurney out to get the harder piece and really flush your chassis rails out. So I've never had any rust in any of my cars. I've never had any rust protectors. Just regular cleaning and regular maintenance. There was quite a few washouts on this one here. So this morning we left about an hour before the high tide. There was still a few little areas where we had to wait for the swell to back out. And so we could sneak around to get through. I probably wouldn't have left it any more than an hour.
What's your advice on washouts?
Yeah, just go slow.
Yeah.
Slow, have a look at your easiest way in and look at your easiest way out, so you're not getting stuck in the middle. So if it's too deep, go for a walk through it as well. Pull up, just walk the washouts and see what the sand's like underneath. The tyre pressures, I ran mine at 22 pound.
Yeah.
The beach was pretty hard here this time round, so once you actually got on the beach it wasn't too bad, but down at 22 pound just to get onto the beach in the soft stuff, just makes the car work a little bit easier, makes the ride a little bit smoother too.
Thanks for that. Appreciate your help there.
Anytime, mate. It was a great week.
It was. And,
Great week.